like whenever I think of Fantastic Four, all that pops up in my head is the one with Chris Evans and Jessica Alba, which is not. No.
Hello, everybody. I'm Faith.
And I'm Nala.
And this is the Sirens Den, the podcast where we talk about movies, TV shows, and any nerdy news that we feel like talking about that day.
Which is a lot. Today we are joined by our wonderful dear friend and actress, writer extraordinaire, Jenny.
Hello. Thanks for having me on, and yeah.
We're super excited to have you. And especially we're super excited to have you as our first guest of this show.
Yeah. I'm so happy that you guys chose me as your first guest. You're amazing, and I'm really excited to talk pop culture and everything under the sun with you guys.
All right, well, let's jump right into the news then, because lots to talk about.
Pretty eventful day yesterday. But before we get to all that, we're going to talk about a couple smaller things that were announced that definitely probably will be buried in the cluster of events. The first being Avatar: The Last Airbender is announcing their newest graphic novel, because they've continued doing graphic novels since the show has started, and it is notably a Suki solo story. Suki being one of the fan favorite characters who really hasn't gotten a lot of love up until now. So Nala, kind of from the little bit of information that we've gotten from it, what do you think is going to happen in this comic?
So I've only seen the cover for it, but I mean, it's giving me a lot. It looks like, it's called Suki Alone, so I'm pretty sure it's her when she was on the Boiling Rock and just kind of like really honing in her craft, and kind of telling like Suki's side of the story from the Appa Alone days when she was captured.
Yeah.
We really just don't know what happened, and the rest of the Kyoshi warriors were split up, it seems like, being a child prisoner, because must be horrifying.
Yeah.
And also, like, I see Kyoshi there, so more Kyoshi's always good.
So I'm so excited that we have Kyoshi there, because that might mean that Kyoshi plays a part, maybe. Or if nothing else, just like drawing back on like old stories of Kyoshi, which would be also cool, because that means we'd get Kyoshi either way. I'm really hoping that we get some of the characters in the comic that we get in the Kyoshi books, if just even in just a reference or just like a little picture and like a flashback here and there. I think that would be a really cool way to kind of connect those two different pieces of media.
Honestly, I wanted Suki in Korra. Like,
yeah,
everyone else was old. Where was Suki?
She's the only one of the gang that we never found out what happened to her.
You're gonna go ahead and call me out, aren't you?
Wait, Jenny.
I know.
Don't tell me.
I'm the worst.
No, that's exciting, because that means you get to experience it for the first time.
Absolutely.
That's true.
Do you have access to Netflix?
I do.
Then I highly suggest you watch it. Both it and Legend of Korra are now on Netflix, and you won't regret it.
Yeah, it is by far one of the, or I would argue, at least the original is probably one of the best written TV shows that has ever happened. It just has such a good arc. All the characters are awesome. And it's really just a good symbol of what you can do with kids animation.
Yeah, I always need things to watch, and especially good things. Like, I love to binge, so I'm glad it's on Netflix. That's good to know.
Oh, you will definitely binge it.
Yeah. So from like the limited exposure you've had,
I have no exposure, basically. To be honest.
Wow, I mean, then you will be going in with completely no expectations.
Yeah.
So I think anything is going to blow you away, which it definitely will.
That's awesome. We'll have to have you back on when you watched it, and we can just nerd out about it.
Yeah, be prepared for me to probably blow up your guys' like messengers and
yes,
everything.
please.
I'm always on
while you watch it.
Yes.
I will.
I personally have not read the comics, but I would like to start reading up on them and collecting them because there's a lot of good content in there, which devastates me that it's not in show format.
Yeah, they're great. You can also, it's not the best way to read comics, but they are pretty relatively cheap on just like the Google store or like the Apple store if you read books that way.
I was thinking of like Comixology or
Yeah.
getting them from somewhere online. Yeah.
I feel like it'd be on there too.
I also do know that don't the voice actors for Korra and Asami do a YouTube series where they read the comic as their characters?
It's not necessarily a series, but they did because after Korra and Asami got together, even though it was kind of vague in the show because Nickelodeon didn't want them to be opaque about it. But then in the comic, the immediate comic that followed was just like, oh yeah, no open-endedness. They're gay for each other. But they voiced that.
Yeah, super exciting stuff. Jenny, again, we'll have to have you on because you'll probably geek out about this too.
I'm actually getting really excited hearing you guys talk about it because it sounds really good.
Yes.
And it's like you don't even have any context. What is Kyoshi? We don't know. But you'll find out and you will love her.
I'm excited. I feel like hearing you guys say that she's a fan favorite, and I'm guessing like, there's always like comic relief and those characters that are just beloved and quirky in the show, and I'm wondering if she's kind of like that or
you have everything.
Yeah.
She's a beloved character because she's so wholesome and just so badass.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Like, she is so cool. But she's also really funny and awkward in her own way. But there's definitely comic relief characters, and there's definitely characters with quirky personalities.
Yes.
Love it. Okay, perfect. I'm excited.
All right. So moving on to other small pieces of news. I have to talk about this. The Winx Club is getting a live action, apparently, and they released the trailer for it. Have you guys seen this trailer?
I have not.
Mm-hmm.
Jenny, did you ever watch the Winx Club when you were a kid?
I don't think I did. It doesn't sound familiar.
It was it was this Italian animated show. It was like on Nickelodeon has it recently, but before that it was on like 4Kids TV on like their Saturday morning block, and it is a show about fairies at a fairy high school. It was very light and happy and colorful and just full of fashion, and it was great. And Netflix decided it needed the Riverdale treatment.
Why? I know, but they did that with Sabrina too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm honestly speechless.
Yeah.
Because it's like that, that's not, I didn't get that at all from watching it, obviously. I didn't watch it as a child and was like, oh wow, it's so edgy. It was just super bright and colorful, and the characters were awesome, and this is just a huge bummer.
Yeah. One other thing is it was a magical girl show. That's why I watched it as a kid, because magical girl shows were my jam. And in the trailer, it looks like they're taking away the magical girl transformations. What?
They did us so dirty. We deserve better.
I also want to talk about the fact that one of the things that made Winx Club really cool is it was actually pretty diverse in its character representation. It was like especially like the mid 2000s when it came out. Like I feel like even in cartoons, most characters were like white, and Winx Club had a pretty diverse cast. And then this one, they kept one of them the same race and then made the rest of them white. They made Aisha, who's black in the show, they kept her as black, and then decided we hit our diversity quota.
So they whitewashed it.
Yeah, they had their one black character and called it good.
Yeah, they could have done a lot more.
Mm-hmm. It needed the Riverdale treatment.
That makes no sense to me. Like, I watched things like Arthur and Magic School Bus and stuff when I was a kid. So, oh, you know what? Powerpuff Girls, that's another one that makes me think of this, but I can't imagine them turning it into like a live action drama or something. I feel like it would ruin the magic, you know?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
And I'm also just tired of this idea that everything needs to be dark and edgy. I think one of the things that made Winx Club great is that it really celebrated being girly and bubbly, and like one of the conflicts was like it was like the preppy school and like the goth school, and they were the preppy school. But there was still kind of like a celebration of like that bubbly girliness that like not a lot of things have it, and just it's kind of a bummer to see them go, oh no, they don't need that.
I was just about to say the colors are all off. Like I'm trying to match the characters and I'm like, but I mean, did you even watch the original show?
Yeah.
At all?
The other thing that this makes me really worried about, kind of circling it back to Avatar, here's a live action adaptation of a like cartoon TV show that totally did not get any of the original spirit of the show. So and we know that for the Avatar, the live action, that the original creators left because of creators' differences. So I'm really worried what the Avatar show is going to look like now.
This also scares me because when you first posted it, I was like, oh no, did Netflix do this? And then I was like, they did. And then I had a moment of, fear. And I was like, oh no, Netflix is doing the Avatar show and this is going to suck. And it's devastating again, because there is so much potential. There is so you can still be faithful to the original content and still make it a little more mature for, this day and age. But don't that's the complete opposite of what the show is supposed to be on both accounts. And I mean, I really hope that I'm not going to say I really hope this doesn't do well, honestly, because Netflix has got to stop if they're not going to do it right.
Yeah. It really sucks that they made Flora white. It really makes Musa, who's Asian, it really sucks that she's also white.
Yeah. For a lot of them, like you were saying, I can't even tell who they're supposed to be with their colors.
Yeah.
They did not match them up very well at all. One of them is literally wearing gray and black.
Yeah.
That's not a costume from the original.
And it sucks too, because on one hand, because they made the actress for Flora, they made her plus size, which is awesome. Because one thing I will say about the original show is, oh my god, everyone in that show is a twig. But it's cool that they gave that they're not sticking to that they're trying to put in different body types. It just sucks that it also has this kind of whitewashedness behind it. It kind of feels like that they went, oh, she can be brown or she can be not Hollywood beauty stereotype, but she can't be both.
Yeah, I hate how it's so mutually exclusive. You have to be one or the other. You can't be both. It's either we have this kind of representation or we have this kind of representation. We can't have it both ways. And it's but you can. You're not trying.
Yeah. Let's talk Disney. Let's talk Disney. Talk about the mind-boggling boatload of just things that were announced. And since we did get a large amount, let's just kind of take it a few things at a time. Let's talk about all the Marvel TV we're getting.
Oh my god. I'm so ready. I'm so ready for all of this. It's been a rough year, so this is definitely some awesome stuff to look forward to. In terms of TV stuff, I'm particularly excited for, they just announced who's going to be Riri Williams in the Ironheart TV show. Her name is Dominique Thorne. And as we're recording this, I'm now looking at my Ironheart little statuette over here, and I'm like, yes, you're going to be on TV. And it's going to be wonderful. We haven't got, a trailer for that yet, but I mean, Miss Marvel's actress was announced very recently, and they already have some stuff out for the sizzle reel.
Yeah.
Which, nice segue into one of the second things I'm most excited for, which is Miss Marvel. This one is honestly something I never thought I'd be able to get excited for, because I never thought I'd see that character represented on such a huge platform.
Mm-hmm.
Already, she was great to have in a comic book, but now she's being made into a TV show, with that TV show eventually being made into movies. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a character that I have always loved for being so relatable. Not only to just, the experience of being a teenager, but specifically to being a woman of color and Muslim, which is, what I am. And I'm like, wow, I never thought I'd see myself in a comic book. And now I'm like, wow, I get to see myself on screen, which is something I never had when I was, that age. And now I'm excited for all these girls that are going to be watching someone that's like them kicking butt. And just, looking at that sizzle reel and seeing the amount of directors that are of Middle Eastern and South Asian descent is amazing. Because it's just more people to be like, oh my God, that's me. That's me. That's me. That's me. And I never thought I'd have I never thought that would be the case. Because I always thought, maybe there isn't a market for this. Maybe they were, they're like, okay, we gave you a comic book character, but that's all you're getting. And now they're like, no, we're telling these stories. We're bringing them on the screen. And it's just, it's something really special. And I'm super excited for those two in particular, but there's so much else going on.
Yeah. And in terms of TV shows, for that very reason, they're going to be so incredibly groundbreaking. I'm really excited just to see what comes out of that. I'm really excited to see just the perspective from those stories as well. So with that, with Miss Marvel and Ironheart, as someone who's huge fans of both of those things, what are things that you're hoping is going to be in those shows?
A lot. I really hope we get to see Lockjaw in the Miss Marvel show. Just giant alien bulldog is always going to be fun.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they're going to maybe tie in Wolverine with this Miss Marvel show. That could be a possibility to introduce maybe Wolverine. Who knows? Because I know they hang out sometimes too. But honestly, I'm just excited to see her interact with Captain Marvel, because that's, a huge part of how she gets her powers. And, which just makes the casting more perfect, because apparently the actress has a Letterboxd account where, she's been reviewing movies, and she's really funny. And her commentary on movies is just super spot on. But she rated Captain Marvel and was like, you know what? It wasn't the best movie, but honestly, I would die for Brie Larson. Aww. And I'm like, girl, same.
Excellent.
So that's the type of fangirling that is so perfect for her. So I mean, that's what I'm excited for, at least. Miss Marvel wise, and also just to see her family, and just to see, because again, from this tiny sizzle reel I saw, I was like, oh my God, this is my family. I'm seeing all these things, all these memories just come back to me from my own childhood, and how fun it is. It's definitely, it looks like she has a great relationship with her family. And I'm excited to see that part of it, because that's something that's super underrepresented, is just that family side of these cultures.
So, Jenny, have you Have you read Miss Marvel or Ironheart?
Not read either. Of course.
That's okay. I mean, after this episode, you're gonna have so much content to get through.
It's very true.
Just to laze the day away with.
Right, exactly. And I need that. I feel like so many people need content to distract them right now.
Nala, why don't you tell her how amazing Riri and Miss Marvel are?
Yeah, always love talking about these characters. So let's get into Ironheart first. That is her superhero name. Her real name is Riri Williams. She is a 15-year-old MIT student who basically makes her own version of the Iron Man suit and eventually gets mentored by Tony Stark and just basically takes up his mantle. And honestly, I'm very intrigued. I mean, have you seen any of the Avengers movies?
Oh, yeah. I own most of the Marvel movies, and that's why it's so sad that I'm such a bad nerd and don't know anything else.
But I'm intrigued to see what they're going to be doing with this, especially since Tony Stark is, I don't know, spoiler alert, movie came out, I don't know, last year, but Tony Stark is dead. So that mantle was kind of almost passed on to his kid. So I'm intrigued to see what they're going to do with that storyline, because that is kind of different from the comics.
Mm-hmm. So the way they were kind of introducing Tony Stark's daughter makes it, she's obviously a genius as well, and I wonder like how they're gonna work around that versus, you know, comic book canon. And I'm wondering that for a lot of the stuff they're introducing though.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I do wonder what they're going to do with her daughter. Which, granted, I'm glad they're going the Riri Williams route. I would much prefer that than his kid. No offense to his kid.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's supposed to be like his kid's supposed to be still young at this point. But he obviously was not counting on this happening, I guess. So I it's kind of like, I think there's going to be a time of like, we need a new Iron Man. No one is Pepper's got her kid to take care of now, so she's not going to go and be Iron Man. We need that kind of super genius again. And then they find Riri Williams. And, you know, it's just opening a lot of new doors because, again, this is another good segue back into Miss Marvel. I think they're really going for that younger, you know, the Young Avengers type franchise now. They've already hit it with, you know, the older Avengers. They got those older geeks satisfied. Now it's time for that younger generation and giving them something to look up to that's closer to their age range.
Right.
So yeah, that goes into Miss Marvel, who is basically Captain Marvel. When Carol Danvers became Captain Marvel, she was no longer Miss Marvel, so someone else had to take up that mantle. And this Pakistani girl named Kamala Khan, just super nerd. She's basically like us. She is obsessed with the Avengers. She's obsessed with Captain Marvel specifically, and eventually gets these powers that make her basically like warp her body. She can extend really far. She can grow really big, really small. So basically, yeah, she inherits the mantle of Miss Marvel and becomes her own superhero. And I'm just really excited to see how that all fits in with everything else. So those are those two that I'm super excited for. And I definitely think you should check both the graphic novels out, both the comics out. They're not graphic novels.
Oh.
They're comics.
All right. So, Jenny, what are you most excited to see?
So, from the very first Avengers movie, I have had the biggest crush on Hawkeye, which whenever I would nerd out about him when I was younger, it always sounds like I'm saying hot guy.
I know. Yep.
Anyways.
Been there.
So I really got into the background of that character in particular. And I knew who Kate Bishop was, of all people, and they're finally going to introduce her in the show, the series that they're bringing out, Hawkeye. So I'm excited about that.
Super stoked.
Yeah.
I think Haley Steinfeld's a great choice for Kate Bishop.
Yeah, she has the right look, and she's such a great actress. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
And that ties into more of that young Avengers, theory that's going on.
Exactly. I feel like they're smartly phasing out the older Avengers. Like, we love them and we've had their time with them, but now they're kind of interspersing these younger Avengers. And they're not like shocking us with a whole new lineup all of a sudden, I feel like. And that's really smart. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like they started with Tom Holland in that,
Yeah, definitely. And in the second Doctor Strange movie, they're going to be introducing America Chavez, who is, Jenny, do you know who America Chavez is?
I don't.
So her moniker is Miss America, and she is an alien who had to leave her planet. But she is so the whole Doctor Strange 2 is going to be the multiverse of madness. So she's going to be from another universe and, coming here and trying to figure out life here. So again, that just plays into more young Avengers, and it's really gonna be awesome. I think She-Hulk maybe as well. She's not as young, but
I don't think She-Hulk. But I am wondering with She-Hulk if we're gonna get Amadeus Cho from that, because Amadeus Cho is young Hulk and the young. I always want to say Young Justice, the Young Avengers. I would love to see Amadeus Cho get in.
You are absolutely right. That would be awesome.
And I love him.
Hopefully we need more Hulk.
Yeah, Hulk's a fan favorite for sure.
But it's looking here, with the Moon Knight series and all these new kind of heroes that they're introducing. I'm wondering if they're gonna break off and do like an older Avengers. I'm not gonna say Justice League Dark, but how they have their own little Justice League.
Yeah,
another thing. I'm wondering if they're gonna make it, if all the heroes are gonna be working together, young and older, or if they're gonna be making separate things where it's just the young heroes going here and then the older ones going there.
I can see them interspersing them together, honestly. Like, I feel like they're really good at crossing over into each other's universes and story arcs, and I think they'll...
True. And Fantastic Four is also coming back, which is very exciting. I guess third time's the charm.
Yeah. So with that, with Fantastic Four, that's a what is your guys' dream cast for that? Because we've had many iterations of, I'm going to say that sentence again. We've had many iterations of the Fantastic Four up until now. So this is going to be cast number 3, 4. So who are we hoping to see for that?
It depends on how they want to go. Obviously, everyone's been talking about John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, which they would be comic book perfect. And obviously, they're married. They have so much chemistry together. They're great actors. They would look great. But then if maybe they want to go a different route with the first family, because now the first family means something different. So I'm intrigued to see. Obviously, they could go either way, and I would be happy either way, but I'm looking for something kind of different with the Fantastic Four since they've done it so many times.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh God, I forgot her name. The girl of Fantastic Four. My brain is like Elastigirl. That's not right at all.
Sue Storm, Invisible Woman.
Invisible Woman. Yes. That was a brain meltdown right there. Invisible Woman. Is there any actresses out there that you would love to see get their chance getting to go around in the Marvel universe.
Jenny, do you have any suggestions?
That's actually a really good question. Like, whenever I think of Fantastic Four, all that pops up in my head is the one with Chris Evans and Jessica Alba, which is not. No. I'm very good with words. Let's see. New Fantastic Four. Would we be going with young up-and-coming actors?
I think it's just whoever you're feeling, whether it's an established actor who really hasn't been in comic book movies that often, or someone who's up and coming who hasn't had a chance, or you.
Totally me, definitely. I'm so well known. No, I'm kidding. I feel like Anya Taylor-Joy is an up-and-coming actress that I just love. She's in a lot of things right now.
Ooh.
Love her.
I love her so much.
After New Mutants kind of just fizzled and died, maybe she's going to be revived again by Marvel. That would be very interesting.
We've seen that happen.
Mm-hmm.
That would be rad.
That'd make me so happy, honestly. And especially because we've seen that with, like, Marvel is always revamping and recasting and putting people where they'll shine. And I think it's very doable.
You know who I just thought of who I think also could make a pretty good Invisible Woman? Sophie Turner.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Because I haven't really seen her in anything since Game of Thrones. And she's so awesome.
She was Phoenix. She was Jean Grey.
Oh, that's right. I blocked that movie and also, yeah. Let's definitely put her in Marvel. Let's give her an opportunity to be in a superhero movie that isn't being stifled by Disney. Ironically,
although if we're going Game of Thrones, I mean, maybe Emilia Clarke.
Ooh,
yeah.
I mean, that would be because she kind of has that elegance too.
She does. There's some badass females out there.
And oh god, if also on Game of Thrones actresses, what is her name?
Maisie.
Not Maisie. God, I can't remember the character name or the actress name. It was Daenerys's.
Missandei?
Yeah.
Natalie Emmanuel?
Yeah.
Love her. Oh, wow. She would be great.
Yeah. She's also she's fantastic as an actress. And I would also kind of go into making the Fantastic Four just a little bit more diverse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She would be great.
Yeah, that would be really nice, actually.
We can go forever on these topics.
I know. All right, let's move on to Star Wars. Jenny, what are you most excited for Star Wars wise?
Oh my god, I'm gonna get so much hate. I've only seen Rogue One so far and A New Hope.
Then maybe you'd be excited in the new Andor show because K2SO and Captain Cassian, Diego Luna are coming back for a prequel series.
Actually, yes, that's right up my alley because I loved that movie. Like, I know you're not supposed to technically go out of order like that, but
it doesn't matter.
Who cares? That's kind of how I look at it.
Star Wars it has no beginning or end.
Yeah.
It's just an ongoing experience, especially with all these shows. Holy butts.
Yeah, there's no wrong way to experience that. Nala, because I could talk forever about what I'm excited for Star Wars wise, as I know you can. So I'm going to let you. What are you most excited for with the announcements that we got?
I am excited for so much, but I'm looking at this Lando little title thing, and I love Lando as a character from the original trilogy to, I know Solo wasn't the best movie, but Lando was. I really loved him in that character. So I'm wondering if they're going to be bringing back Billy D. Williams or if they're going to be going Donald Glover. Hopefully Donald Glover.
I feel like it would be Donald.
But I mean, he's filming his Atlanta show. I guess he might be contracted for more, especially since he's worked with Disney in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm definitely excited for more Lando.
Yeah.
More Lando outfits, please.
I'm super pumped for the Ahsoka show. Ahsoka is my girl. I like, she's awesome in Clone Wars. I loved her in Rebels. I'm not going to go on a Rebels rant right now, as much as I could do that. But yeah, I'm really excited to see her in that. Especially, real quick, can I talk a brief Ahsoka and Mandalorian spoilers? So, spoiler alert, if you're not caught up on The Mandalorian, she made her live action appearance. Finally, her and Bo-Katan made their transitions from the animated universes, or not, it's the same universe, but they made their transitions from the animated show to the live action show. And that was really, really awesome. And with the Ahsoka show, she name dropped another big Star Wars character who has not had their time of day in live action, which is Grand Admiral Thrawn, he's one of my favorite Star Wars villains. He's so cool. I love him way more than Vader. Actually, he is my favorite Star Wars villain. Yeah, Thrawn has to be the villain for that show. Which is going to be really awesome, because I'm really hopeful that means it's going to tie into Rebels a little bit more, just because he was a big part of Rebels and a big part of how Rebels ended. And also, I'm hoping that means we get more of the Rebels characters. Grand Admiral Thrawn, he is just this crazy smart Chris officer and in the Imperial Navy of the Galactic Empire. Also, if you guys look up Grand Admiral Thrawn, they're gonna put Mads Mikkelsen in the live action universe, that's the character to do it with. He's this kind of tall, dark, like navy blue alien with like cheekbones for days and like bright red eyes. He's super creepy, but he's also super smart and very suave and has a lot of charisma. And he's just really just a villainous. Star Wars Rebels, he makes his appearance as the main villain in that, starting in season 3. And his appearance elevated that show. So I'm really excited to see how they're going to put him in the live action, especially if it's going to be versus Ahsoka.
Yeah, he was in.
He was
right. He was
Jyn
in
Erso's
Rogue
dad.
One.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that.
Okay. In my defense, he was he was very forgettable in that. I forgot his character existed entirely.
That's funny. Like, I'm looking at pictures of Grand Admiral Thrawn right now, and I get like, with the cheekbones and some of the sketches that I'm looking at, I get like comic book Wolverine vibes, but also like kind of Chris Pine if he was blue.
I could see that.
Love me some Chris Pine.
Right?
Yeah. No, I'm excited to see who they're going to cast for that. He was absolutely in Rogue One. All right. Is there any other Star Wars things that you guys are excited about?
That Obi-Wan show. Hayden Christensen coming back as Anakin.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I really appreciate the Star Wars timeline and how long they wait after each installment to make something new with these characters.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming it's going to pick up after episode 3, maybe a little after. The actors have aged well, I guess. Who knows? But I'm excited for that. I'm excited for more OG. I mean, it's been really fun seeing all the old.
Like, even as a new fan, like, even though I started out of order with Rogue One and everything, for me, it explained so much and helped me to really dive into the Star Wars universe.
Yeah. And I really think that's when Star Wars is at its best too. Like Clone Wars is just it's a brilliant TV show. Rebels is great. Mandalorians is just one of the best TV shows on there right now. One of the things I'm really excited for as well, Star Wars wise, and I'm calling it now, it is going to be the best Star Wars movie. It is Rogue Squadron with Patty Jenkins.
Absolutely. I'm glad that they finally woke up and realized that it was really wrong of them to say, like, on Kathleen Kennedy's part, I think it was super wrong of her to say that there probably won't be a female director of a Star Wars movie.
Mm-hmm.
But they'd happily take one under their wing to mentor. And I'm like, no, how about you just give them a job? Like you do with all these other male directors.
Mm-hmm.
Kathleen Kennedy, I could rant about my feelings about her, but I'm not going to. What are your so with Rogue Squadron? I don't. One of the things I'm really hoping for in more bringing animated characters into the live action universe. My favorite Star Wars character is in Rebels. Her name is Hera Syndulla. She's a pilot for the squadrons in the Rebels, and I'm really hoping that she's going to make an appearance in this movie.
I guess going along those lines, I really hope if it's going to be about X-Wing pilots, I hope they make it a woman. Mm-hmm. We've seen so many men fly these X-Wings, and we kind of get it. I think I really like how this new era, I guess, of the Star Wars franchise is focusing more on women with, Rey, although she deserved better in the new trilogy.
Honestly.
But, I hope they're going more that route, because I loved Poe in the new trilogy, but I'm like, what if Poe was a girl? That would be dope.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see a lady pilot just, kicking butt.
Yeah, definitely.
So I hope they go that way with it.
If you want to get that urge satisfied, definitely watch Rebels. They definitely establish her as they establish her as a better pilot than Darth Vader.
Nice.
Excellent.
So she would definitely fill that role really well. But also bringing in a new female pilot would also just be really awesome. Just because more awesome females in the Star Wars universe. I will never complain about that.
Who's your dream cast for that particular character?
Oh God. That one might be interesting. Because one of the things that they did with one of the characters who came in the live action in Mandalorian, Bo-Katan, is that they had the voice actress Katie Sackhoff, who's an established actress, definitely, but she played the live action version. Vanessa Marshall, I think she might be able to pull that off. If not her, God, there's so many actresses who would be really cool as her.
One of my favorite parts about the new trilogy is in The Last Jedi. One of them, Rose's sister, I think her name was Paige.
Yeah.
I thought she was dope before she unfortunately died. But I'm intrigued to see what type of pilot she was, because it seemed like she was really self-assured and she kind of knew what she was doing. So maybe it could be something like that, to where it's like, maybe it's not old Star Wars, maybe it's newer Star Wars.
That would be really cool.
30-year gap after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. Also, that would be a really good, cool way to bring in those characters that were there in that moment. And it would be a nice way to make that moment in that movie a little bit more powerful.
But they are definitely cashing in on that, $7 billion deal that they bought Star Wars for.
Yeah.
So they're making a lot of content to try to keep that cash flow.
Oh, yeah. And same with Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess really all we can do is kind of wait and see what happens. All right, so we also have to talk about Loki. We have to talk about the Loki show. Did you guys watch the trailer?
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right, so Jenny, I'll throw it to you. What did you think? What are your expectations?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So Loki is obviously a fan favorite. He's hilarious. He's the trickster. So in the trailer, who I didn't expect to see was an Owen. That was Owen Wilson. He's like
An old
unrecognizable.
Owen Wilson.
Exactly. He was unrecognizable. I didn't recognize him at first. But I like how they start with they're bringing Loki in. It's the police, like, and then it jumps to all these different scenarios, and he is being, which was pointed out to me, he's being DB Cooper, basically, which is very Loki-like and actually a really cool way to explain the whole DB Cooper history.
I'm honestly reading up on DB Cooper right now, and this is ridiculous. This is so crazy. I mean, one of the things I'm excited for is just the fact that this is pre-redemption Loki, because this is him from after the first Avengers, which is before he became a softie. So I'm intrigued to see how this will play into the next Thor movie or something else, because if they're like still keeping Loki around, maybe they're going to be using him for something and then kicking him out again and we'll see where he ends up.
Yeah, and that's something that's so interesting with the Marvel movies and shows in general, is that they can jump the timelines in any way that they like to. So even if a character is gone in one movie, that's no guarantee you're not going to see them again. You will very likely see that character again. And that's something that's really cool, I think, about Marvel.
One thing I do think is kind of funny about that, which I think is a hilarious precedent that they've set, is that they took away all his character development and are just starting from scratch.
He's so bad at being a good person, he has to do it twice.
One thing I am wondering if what they're going to do, since it sounds like he's going to be jumping through time, is I wonder if he is going to start to get some of the memories of this other life that he lived, and if that's going to kind of take a play into how he starts to, because I imagine that he's not going to come out of the show as the evil Loki we see in the second movie. I imagine that this is going to be kind of putting him on that kind of more redemptive path.
Especially because it's a movie that's solely focused on him. It's a movie surrounding him. He's not just like the tag-along brother causing issues this time. So I can see them, going the Disney way, good redemption kind of format with him.
Yeah. Nala, what are some of your expectations for Loki?
Well, I mean, like I said, I'm excited to see, the different side that, like, the different path that Loki could have taken if he wasn't reformed. I'm excited to see how this path takes him to redemption, because I mean, I agree with you. I don't think he's going to come out as that same bad Loki, but I mean, he's not going to remember all the things that, all the memories he shared with his brother, even though his brother still will. So I mean, I'm also intrigued to just see how they connected all in, because I mean, they're really hankering down on the fact that all of these shows are connected to each other. That's definitely, he's going through different time periods. That's also another thing, like the chance for production design. I mean, it's kind of the same as WandaVision, because they're kind of jumping around times too. So I'm just excited to see all the cool costumes, and I mean, already in that trailer we got served some pretty good Loki looks. I'm excited for just more of that, because I mean, you don't really see that many shows or movies about the villain, so to speak, or the anti-heroes. even though they are really good.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot that you can do with those characters. They usually play the catalyst, but Marvel's really good at character development and casting in particular. So they've got so much that they can play around with and spin off of.
All right. So with that note, let's kind of quickly do a little bit of a speed round of just again, because so much came out that it's hard to keep track of everything. So Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Ooh, I'm super excited. Bucky has short hair. New Captain America shield getting passed down. I'm excited for their shenanigans. Their love-hate relationship's fabulous. That's all I've got to say.
Agreed. I'm excited for the chemistry between them. I think that's going to be really fun to see.
They're adorable. And was it? Oh gosh, there's been so many movies. Was it the Winter Soldier where they were like fighting?
Yeah.
The car. I love that.
No. It was that was Civil War where
Civil
he's
War,
like,
that's what
"Can
it
you move
was."
your seat up?" And he's like, "No."
Yep. I'm excited for more banter from them. I think that'll be great.
Banter's my favorite.
Marvel's What If?
I haven't seen the trailer yet, but I mean, that's going to be like an alternate universe. What if this happened? I'm always a fan of hypotheticals, especially when it comes to fandom stuff. So I like that they're like, "Hey guys, we're gonna throw these fans a bone of what if all your nerd fantasies came true." Crossover time.
Yeah. Jenny, have you seen the trailer?
I haven't.
It's really, really good. I'll say one thing I'm excited for from it because I don't want to spoil everything that was seen in the trailer. I'm really excited for Super Soldier Peggy Carter. Yeah.
They're doing that.
They are. Oh God, I don't want to spoil too many things. Oh yeah. Okay, Ty, our producer gave us the note. I'm also very, very excited for Zombie Captain America.
For who?
Zombie Captain America.
Okay,
What If?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
All right. And then, God, I'm looking at this list and I'm like, what have we talked about?
The mantle of Black Widow is being passed down to the character Yelena Belova, who is played by the wonderful Florence Pugh. And I'm very excited for her to kind of bring her own spin on Black Widow. But she's also going to be in the Hawkeye show, kind of bringing it back to that. So I'm excited for that to be brought into the Marvel Universe, as well as finally just the Black Widow movie we deserve after so long.
Absolutely. All right. WandaVision.
I mean, from what I've gotten, I guess it's Wanda making like a different reality to process her grief.
Yeah. I'm getting really strong House of M vibes. And I don't know if we're going to be I think we're going to be getting a House of M story. I don't know if it's going to be in WandaVision. I could also see that kind of coming in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. But either way, I think Wanda's going to snap and it's going to cause a bunch of reality hijinks.
That was supposed to be Monica Rambeau? I did not know that. So that's fantastic.
And then finally, some Star Wars things that we didn't quite get a chance to talk about. Although, to be fair, with a lot of the Star Wars TV shows, we've kind of gotten a little bit more. We haven't gotten as much information. The Bad Batch.
I saw the trailer for that.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. I mean, I don't know much about the lore, but from what I've been gathering, are they rogue stormtroopers or
they're clone troopers?
Okay.
So, yeah,
but are they like they're no longer with the Empire?
I don't know if it takes place before the fall, or I don't know how soon after the Clone Wars it takes place. my partner was signaling to me that it's after. So yes, yes, in that case, yes, it is. They defied the directive and are not with the Empire.
Well, then that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Also, that hopefully means that we get another beloved Clone Wars character, which is Captain Rex, who also could be in the live action. I think they could do that. I think that's everything. I think that's everything we've talked about. I feel.
But I don't know what this Acolyte show's about.
Yeah, same. I was looking at that one. Acolyte.
I don't know what it is about, but I do know that it is going to be shared the same showrunner as Russian Doll, Leslie Headland. So if it's anything in the same tone that Russian Doll had, although it was her Russian Doll being Leslie Headland's project with Natasha Lyonne and Amy Poehler, but she's still a fantastic creator. So if Acolyte has anything, any kind of tone from Russian Doll, I'm pretty pumped. It is a mystery thriller that will take the audience into a galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic era. It's going to be lit.
Yeah, that sounds really good, actually.
Heck, I'm excited. More content. I'll eat it up.
That's another one I'm really hoping is going to be female-led. Leslie Hyland as the showrunner, because she's really good about putting like strong female narratives. Again, Russian Doll. So I'm really hoping that that will be the case with this show as well.
Love it. And a droid story. Did we talk about that one?
Oh no, we did not. So a droid story.
I like the droids, so it caught my eye.
Yeah, the droids are some of the best part of the Star Wars universe. It's going to be a R2D2 C-3PO animated.
They're cute. Okay.
Which I'm for. My old roommate used to he would get so mad that just the nonsense cameos that R2D2 and C-3PO would have. I love them. I don't care. Throw them everywhere.
They're adorable. They add some lightness.
It is an animated television movie scheduled to come out. It was announced on December 10th. I was like, oh my God, that's out already? Okay. So yeah, with that, I think there's obviously, we could talk about all these things for hours and hours and hours and hours on end, but that's the end of our show today. So if you think that there was something we should have talked about, or if we said something that you really want to voice an opinion on, you can send letters, messages, and emails to sirensdenpodcast@gmail.com. So if you have a topic that you think you should look at, or just something you really, really want to hear us cover, comment on our Facebook page. We would love to hear from you guys.
And we just want to say thank you again to Jenny for joining us tonight on our first episode. We loved having you. It was awesome getting to chat. I think you got a lot of stuff to catch up on.
I do. I love it. Actually, so being on the Losing At podcast, I am a huge Umbrella Academy fan, and before doing that podcast, I had never heard of or seen that show. So
yes,
you guys are making an even nerdier. Oh my gosh, it's been a week, guys. An even nerdier girl out of me.
I'm not kidding. Live message me and Nala while you watch it. Hell yeah.
But I'm totally with you on Umbrella Academy. Fabulous stuff. So excited for season 3. Just we'll have you on again. We'll definitely talk more about awesome nerd stuff.
Absolutely. I loved being on. Thank you so much, guys.
All right. Well, that's our show, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Faith.
And I'm Nala.
And we will catch you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.